everybody.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
I am Janae Strother.
I'm Sean Spencer.
Back.
We are back.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen.
I gotta go out and hold up.
Come on. The lion. The lion. You will so fine. Kirk Cousins. Woo!
All right. I am Janae Strother.
I am Sean Spencer.
And this is Let's Talk Football.
And I feel alright. That it's Wednesday night. Oh, what a night. Yeah, I said it's Wednesday night. Washington Football Weekly. And we are back to you. What's up? Yo, what's going on? It's your boy Sean, and I'm with you tonight. I got the shirtless wonder under me and WK to my right. I got Anton, that Ant-Man, he doing his thing. But Washington is what we talking about. Let's go, man. What's up,
Let's go.
Yeah. What's going on, people? It's Wednesday. That means Washington Football Weekly. It's your boy Sean Spencer. You know what's going on. And guys, I'm excited. The franchise tag deadline just passed. Free agency's on the way. The draft is a month away. Oh, this is the good stuff. This is for all of us that really like the stats and to figure out who's getting tagged and the money and all this. This is for us. This is for us. How y'all doing this week, man? What's going on?
Loving it. Jacked up. Jacked up and excited for the off season because Washington, we off season champs. Here we go.
That's right.
Another year.
And I'm ready to see what money we're gonna spend.
That's right. Money. That's what we spend, man. That's how we do it, man. But look, so it's March 10th, man. Happy Wednesday, happy hump day to all of you. And I have to, before we start the show, I have to always do my happy birthdays to my people. One of my best friends, diehard close friend of mine, Felicia Sterling, want to send out a happy birthday to you. I'm not going to tell your age because I know that. My mama taught me better than that. So, happy birthday to you for sure. And, when I was younger.
Felicia.
Right.
I know Felicia. I know how old you are, girl. It's all right.
Hey, you forever young, girl. You forever young. Let's go. And in my family, man, I am one of 7 in my family, and a lot of my older brothers and sisters are seriously a lot older than me and have kids that were my age. 6 months after I was born, my nephew, Devin Crump, was born. Just turned 37 today, my best friend. I'm gonna tell y'all something, man. And it's gonna make me look bad, but I don't care. Devin once said to me, we were young, we were like 6 or 7, 8 years old. And we were looking, he was checking out that area where you start checking out girls, start checking things out. And he was checking out girls and things like that. And he was like, oh yeah, she's nice. And I was like, yeah, that's right. I like her. She's nice. And she was like, Sean, let's be honest. The only girl you gonna like is gonna be a football with legs and arms and all that stuff. Even then, I was all about his life. I'm sorry, I'm a nerd. I know it called me out, Catherine. Thank you for loving me because I don't know. I need to get the football, man, because they don't want to hear about that. Like I said, the franchise tag deadline has passed, but even before that, we had to deal with the updated salary cap. A year ago, the salary cap was $198 million, but obviously with COVID and all the concerns and all the things that are going on with that, it considerably dropped. This year, they just came out with it at $182.5 million, and obviously, that's going to definitely take effect on certain teams. Now, Washington, we're okay right now. We're okay, but there are a number of teams that are definitely in the red on that, and especially a team that just signed their quarterback. But we don't need to. We gonna go into that a little bit later. But like I said, the franchise tag deadline has occurred. And a couple guys that got picked up, we had talked about them in recent weeks. You got Chris Godwin from Tampa Bay, Leonard Williams from the Giants, Marcus May from the Jets. I know, Abs, you was talking about him last week. You got Taylor Moton, Allen Robinson out of Chicago. I liked him. Justin Simmons, Marcus Williams. Will, you were talking about him. And Cam Robinson. So, Ab, I'm going to come to you. Are these good moves? Are they bad moves? Is there anybody on there that you were like, I wish I would have picked them up?
So, franchise tag, just let's explain it for everybody. Everybody should know franchise tag is basically telling a player you ain't going nowhere. And we're keeping you with us because we think you're intricate part of our team. So let's point that out. And a few teams, I think it was a little bit reaching. Like the Cam Robinson one, you reaching, bro. You've been around for a while, so I like that's a little reach. I think it's a reach on Sheriff, especially. I've made this argument, especially with all the teams trying to trade their guards, releasing their guards, not just regular guards, all Pro Bowl guards. So there's good guards out there, and something to add to what you said about the drop in the salary cap. It doesn't only affect the teams; it affects the players. No one's talking about that. There's the teams are these players are going to have to take a considerable amount less than they would have taken before the drop. Right. And that's something that we need to understand before we start talking about all this. But anyway, I digress. So let me just tell you. So my biggest one is the Sheriff franchise tag. That one, that's not necessary. And it's a bad move. It really is. We could have got a decent guard in free agency for pennies to the dollar. And they would have came on a deal like Ronald Darby came just on a prove-it deal, just so they can get their money up when the salary cap raises next year, hopefully.
Yeah. So, Anton, how are you feeling?
No, I don't agree with that because I really think we should, Sharif, like I said, consistency of our O-line has definitely proven better. And when we have the people that can be there, pay them. But on my list of people that I can't really agree with, Marcus Mayhe, like that's an iffy. Paid him that much, at least what, $10 million now to pay him to stay there. That's one I just don't agree on. Who's the other one? Marcus Williams, I think that was probably the better one out of the whole group, honestly, with me. He's proven himself to New Orleans, and he's been a consistent player. But, going back to our Washington, Sharif, I think, like him and having Morgan Moses and Rollier, like, as a dedicated two right there.
Is that him?
Right there.
Is that him?
Yeah. And
no,
right
the computer told him to stop because he was so wrong. Okay, the computer stopped him because he was so wrong.
You're done. They're robot mode.
So let me finish for him. So the computer stopped him and he was so wrong. Okay, so my man, May. This dude, like, how can you say it's wrong for him? Like, you know what I'm saying? I think he was the leading tackler on the team, and for the safety to be that's incredible, man. Let's just put that out there. And so while he's sitting there saying that this player doesn't deserve the salary cap, it's astronomical. And for him to be like, they're dedicated. I'm sorry, I'm not looking for dedication when I'm paying you $18 million. Okay, that's like, you know what I'm saying? Like
you gotta produce.
I understand that he was like the cohesion, the togetherness, like basically the consistency with having the same players together. But that's not $18 million though. You know what I'm saying?
Not for alignment. No.
You know what I'm saying? Let me put in a perspective. They basically released Alex Smith just so they can franchise tag. So they can franchise tag Sheriff. So basically, they used the money that they saved from Alex Smith just so they can franchise Sheriff. And to me, it doesn't make sense to do that when you can get the same production out of other players in free agency as you can probably for half that, maybe even less than that. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense. And it's not like he's the left tackle. It's understandable if he was the left tackle. I might even argue right tackle. You could do that. You can make that argument for, but no, not at right guard.
That's right. And again, we're talking franchise tag. The deadline has come and passed. One of the guys we definitely tagged was Brandon Sheriff, and we'll definitely break this down. But Will, I know you were talking about last week that you were thinking about, or this week you were talking about Marcus Williams. That's safety, because we definitely need safety help. Marcus May was somebody that was brought up as well as somebody for safety help. Leonard Williams out of New York. I didn't know if he was going to become available, but I thought that was somebody that we can look up. But Will, is there anybody that you thought like, I wish we would have had them?
The two free safeties, the two Marcuses. I think we've got to improve that back end of the defense. We're about to have a first place schedule next year. We're playing a bunch of all-pro quarterbacks who shredded us last year, and some of them, they were mobile. We have got to fix that back end of the defense. And those were two guys I thought could be special players back there. I thought Marcus May is someone who was more like I thought he might be an under the radar type of signing. Clearly not. Clearly New York, knows what they're doing. And Marcus Williams, that ball hawk center fielder that we could use. It'd be great to have either one of them. So welcome back, bud.
Yeah.
The whole Cox network went down. So my whole Wi-Fi just shut off. I'm like, why? Something was mad at me for saying something.
Well, we were that too. We did. We didn't like what you were saying.
Yeah, go back to the video tape.
I'll have to go back to the video on replay.
Well, but yeah, go keep going, Will.
Yeah, so I was unlike what Anton said. I was very disappointed. Both those free safeties aren't available now, and we're gonna have to kind of look around for some things. The other one, I felt bad for. Maybe because he'd be great here, but I feel bad for Allen Robinson. Dude has had crap quarterbacks thrown to him his entire career, and he just got stuck going back to Chicago again. And, he still puts up numbers, so clearly, and he's gone to the playoffs a few times with Chicago, so he has improved from what he had in Jacksonville, but dude needs to go to a place where he can get a better quarterback thrown at him, and he didn't even get a chance again.
Nope.
And the bad thing about that one, I'm sorry. The bad thing about that one, Will. The bad thing about that one, Will, is Chicago has no money to get a new quarterback. None. These boys, they are in a bad situation cap-wise, and to tag Robinson, they're going to have that. It's going to be Foles or the draft on how they're going to pick up their quarterback, or unless they trade. But then they still have to make enough cap room for whoever they trade for, and unless they give up the whole draft to select early in the draft,
it's not gonna happen.
You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be insane.
It's not gonna happen. And they got the 20th pick in the draft. Yeah, and they got the 20th pick in the draft. And shout out to Let's Talk Football, the Roundtable, Monday nights at 8:00 here on Facebook Live. Because both of my co-hosts are diehard. They are afraid, live in Chicago, diehard Chicago fans. And look, they and I feel bad for them because they're so hungry. I mean, you know how we are. We are very hungry, but they believe. And then the Cubbies won a couple years back, so they just think we're just so close. And I feel that there's been a lot of rumors recently about Russell Wilson potentially going to Chicago. And I feel like that's just to tease them. Yeah, because there's no chance that's going to happen, especially now with this pick. There's no chance that's happening. So I feel for them, man, because I feel like they're hanging on by a thread. You know, they're another team that has a quarterback issue. They went from Cutler to this. They haven't had many over the years. You know, if you want to go back to Jim McMahon or something, you know what I mean? But it is what it is. But I digress. We're Washington Football Weekly, and we have to move on, ladies and gentlemen, because honestly, there's a part that we all love, like it, love it, or hate it. And I'm gonna let Anton, since you got kicked out, Coxley did you dirty. They did you dirty. I'm gonna let you start me off. We already started talking about it. Brandon Sheriff gets franchise tagged. How do you feel about it?
I mean, just to reiterate, I love it because it creates a consistency that we need. We're not going to try and draft for a new guy. We're not trying to put somebody new out there on the O-line. Like, let everybody try and relearn some new dude. Like, we need to keep who is working and being efficient, and literally seeing him get down on his crack block is remarkable. He's a big dude, and to move that fast, like, I'm glad that they made that pick. I'm sorry that these two don't like this.
Oh, I haven't spoken yet.
But, like I said, Gibson and McKenzie, they like seeing the consistency of their holes that they can make in that A and B gap. And with him there, he's consistent on making a hole for him. And I definitely can dig out with this franchise tag. What you think, guys?
All right, so I'm going to go right to you, Ab. See, I was going to come to me because I knew how you felt. But since he called you out, I'm going to let you go ahead and handle that. Go ahead, Ab.
When was the last time, like, Anton, I asked you a question. When was the last time he played a whole season? First or second year?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. Like, I don't know the answer, but it was a long damn time. So like, he might have never done it. You know what I'm saying? And what was the position we drafted him for? Do you remember that?
If I'm not mistaken, he was for a tackle, wasn't he? And then
right
he got
tackle.
moved to guard.
Right tackle. And why did he get moved?
Because Moses came back.
No, because he wasn't good. That's why. Like, that's the whole point. Like, you know what I'm saying? He had to go to a new position in order to be okay. And honestly, he got picked as an all-pro. All-pro. That means he's good, right?
I mean, he's better at than he is at a tackle.
Do you know how difficult it is to get all-pro?
No, it does not mean he's good. It does not mean he's good. It means he's popular. So, that's what we're talking about here. It's not that he's good. It's because he's popular.
Oh, so he got the popular vote to get the franchise tag.
People know
he's high school superlatives.
Oh. This man, you know what I'm saying? This man wins these popular rewards, and then everyone designate him as good. What if we can find someone that has a better fit for our team? Would you be okay with it?
Okay, then what do you mean by being better?
Because you argue that the team was good, the offensive line was good. They weren't great. There's a lot of times where the holes were not there, and they got stopped up. And honestly, we weren't a good rushing team. We weren't. We
weren't good because it's the first year that everybody's been there. So let them grow up now, being there consistently. Get from good to better.
You just not argue that they love the holes that they had, and that was your argument. So, but it's because it's their first year together. Come on, man. Look for, like, to me,
Benton had a good year
not
of 800 yards.
mediocrity. We should not be okay with mediocrity. We should be excelling. Like, you know what I'm saying? Get better holes instead of these good, okay holes. And to me, if he's going to take up a lot more money than he's really deserves, then he's in our way of being great. You know what I'm saying? And to me, just like in my argument before, we can find offensive linemen, offensive guards in the free agency for cheaper, and probably with this that'll play 16 whole games. Well, this year 17. So, but you know what thing we can count on Sheriff? Missing some games, bro. So that's why we should not be paying him $18 million at all.
Wow. All right, I gotta let you go. Will, go ahead, man.
All right, I'm gonna tone us down a little bit here. We're getting a little feisty here. Someone's getting me fired up.
Yeah, I said no kumbaya. I didn't say none of this.
So
you said you didn't want kumbaya, right?
That's
what you said, right?
Right. He's bringing his fist.
So I didn't love it. I like it because I like it for the sake of, are we a better offensive line with Brandon Sheriff on it than without him? And I would say adamantly, yes, we are. Also, if you look at it, it was only a 1-year deal. And we've now franchised him back-to-back years. What happened the last time we franchised somebody back-to-back years, that final year? What'd they do? They went to Minnesota. What if, last year they franchised him because this is a new coaching staff and they wanted to see what he could do. All right. And maybe this year they figured, you brought up a really great point about guards are looking at getting cut. But as of Tuesday, those guards were not cut. So what are your other options out there? There are talks that, Andrew Norwell in Jacksonville might get cut. Kevin Zeitler of the Giants is about to get cut, and he does have a cheaper salary. So there's thoughts like this could alter the Sheriff, decision, but they didn't get cut. Yesterday on March 9th, they had to make a decision, and they feel like they're better with him. It's another 1-year deal. It's high, but we also are paying nothing for a left tackle right now. So you can almost kind of balance those two positions out for next year. You're paying dirt cheap for Cornelius Lucas. You're paying over the top for Brandon Sheriff. And it's sort of a balance of play because the line improved when they brought in Wes Schweitzer, which goes to your cheap free agent point. Schweitzer, Roulier, and Sheriff greatly improved, and our running game improved, our pass blocking. They worked as a unit. So now we're keeping that unit together. I think it's an improvement, and I think it's important, for the team. I didn't like the cost, and I get that's why you're not enjoying it, but I think we are improving with him. We'll be better with him, and it's a 1-year deal right now.
It's just because I like it. That's all. It's just because I like it. He hates that I like things about the
Nobody worried about you, man. Nobody worried about you, man.
Come to the squares.
Can I say this?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I say this? Let me say this. I would like this deal if this was an extension on trying to work a longer deal. Like if this was just a delay, like a play on trying to sign him long term. You know what I'm saying? Then we get that money back. So
what makes you think it's not?
Right now, I don't like it. What's up?
What makes you think it's not? I mean, by signing him to they have all the way till July, almost a training camp to extend him, and the reports are both sides are in dialogue. They want a discussion. It's not that I don't think they're not. The fact that they didn't do it last year worries me. But I'm adding on to what I said earlier. If it comes out to that they are just needed more time to work a long time deal, I'm all about it. All about it. You know who Sheriff reminds me of? Back in the day, I'm going to go back in the 90s under North Turner. Trey Johnson. When he's in the lineup, the team is better. The offense is better. But he is an often injured type player. And that, I mean, there is a huge balance there. And can he stay healthy?
Interesting. Yeah, so I like it. I like it simply for the 1 year part. Simple. I mean, we've discussed it. I don't need to go any farther than it. I love what you all did to it. So I'm going to move on. This directly affects us, and we've been talking about it back and forth all throughout the year. Dak Prescott got signed by the Cowboys, and it might have put them in the hole for a while. Will, how you feel? Like it, love it, or hate it, man?
I'm trying to think of how to answer. So who do I like it? I mean, they had to. Dallas had to. You couldn't play this dance that they did and let Dak go. There's no – they've got an offense that's ready for a quarterback, and unless you made some trade for Russell Wilson, you're not – there's no one out there that's going to elevate, much more. So they were stuck. They had to. I don't like paying $40 million a year for a quarterback, for one player. I don't even quarterback, but one player. Think about in this salary cap situation how strapped they're going to be. Although I will say the one thing they did that is really good is this year it's only going to cost them like $22 million, and then they're loading it into next year when the cap is going to increase. So that was very smart of Jerry Jones there, but I mean that's a lot of money for him. I don't know that he is worth $40 million.
Yeah, no. I'm glad they did it. Ab, what you think?
I don't like it because, like, I was really hoping that we sign him. No bull, no lie. I really wanted us to get that man. I was waiting for him to jump on free agency and for us to jump at this man. So, like, you know what I'm saying? I don't like it for that reason. But at the same time, it kind of cripples them a little bit. Cap wise, you know what I'm saying? So to me, it limits their moves. But if you have a good financial person in the office, you can make wiggle room anywhere. So, and that's what seems like they got. They got a man that makes all these wiggle rooms and everything like that. Did you guys see that? In order to create cap space, they restructured everybody on the offensive line's contract to make $17 million. Added $17 million to their cap space. Did y'all see that? Yeah,
interesting.
So if you got a good money man in the office to restructure multiple people's contract like that, all of them. So do your thing, Dallas. Like, honestly, I like it for you guys. I hate it for us. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but they're a better team with them. And I know what you're saying, $40 million is a lot of per year for a man like that, but we saw it last year. They're better with them.
Mm-hmm. And
like, I'm glad that finally got his contract that he was asking for all this time. Like, the dedication he had put to that team, I like that they did it. I just hate that they put him at $40 million. Like, I'm sorry, Dallas. Like, discussing earlier, I really think it's going to be a Tony Romo situation. Like, you invest him as being one of the top 5 quarterbacks, and they can't make it to the Super Bowl. Can't even make it past the second round. So why? I mean, it's just like, are you making this deal because everybody's sorry for him? Like, do you really expect him, after having that ankle injury, to be like this star-studded quarterback when he comes back to the field? Like, what does that put on him, on his shoulders, now that, he gets this big old deal? Other than that, I feel happy because, I want to say this. I am kind of mad because he followed us on Instagram for nothing. So he kind of teased us with that whole little thing. Like, all right,
It's all
Snyder,
about the money.
money up. I guess I'm gonna go with JJ's deal, and I guess we couldn't put him on one.
He knew what he was doing.
He tried to trick all our hearts about it, trying to get us signed, get him signed to Washington, and he didn't even get nothing.
No.
He only tricked the dumber one of us. So that's all it was. He didn't trick all of us. He tricked only the dumb one.
No, but
he coming here, man.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like they messed up because that's a lot of cap space that they lost. Even though, like Phil said, the money taken from this year and rolling it into next year, that's a benefit to them, but they still have to sacrifice a lot over a year for whatever they're gonna have to get out of the draft, basically.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yes. Which is why I like it, because in the long run, they're not going to be able to re-sign. If you look at all those contracts of all those guys they got, I think Zeke is one they got to like 2026, but a lot of those other guys are 2023, maybe 2020, 2022. You know what I mean? So once and the fact that they backloaded that contract, once that starts paying in, and then you start losing all those players, Dak's gonna be out there by himself.
Yep.
So I like it. I
do give him credit too, though. They only signed him for 4 years. They didn't throw a deal at him.
Yeah. Right.
But
Just
that last year is going to be loaded. Like I really want to see what the since they backloaded. Well, all contracts are backloaded, so it's silly for us to say that, but I really want to see what that last year is, since it's the average of 40 mil every year. What is it going to be, like 50 probably? Like
right.
80 in year 4.
right. But here's this, and then I asked this on Monday on the roundtable. I said, we got the deal done. Okay, that's out there. It's inked. Everything's fine. We see all the money he's getting. But let's be honest with ourselves that he got injured in October, and the deal got done 12 hours or so before the deadline, or when you know what I mean. So they waited to the last possible minute before they were doing this. Is that relationship fractured? We talk about what's going to get in these later years, but then we look at Deshaun Watson, who got paid a year ago and is ready to go. Now, we don't think Jerry Jones is that messed up in the front office, but let's be honest, Jerry Jones is no saint. And Dak Prescott obviously feels like he's worth a certain amount of money. So I think we guys have some serious problems later, even after this year.
Probably already talking all his smack about how much money he deserves to be there, blah, blah, blah. And Jerry was probably like, we're going to stick to him and keep him nervous until the last day. Mm-hmm. You don't do that to a franchise quarterback like you want him around. You don't wait till the last minute to sign him and be like, all right, well, we'll sign you off for this amount of money, so you have to play now.
Right.
Yeah, I believe.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Will.
I believe that Dak has said all along 40 was his number.
Yep.
And he eventually got 40. So why did it take so long? I mean, Dallas eventually caved, and so I think it is something to watch. Are they kumbaya in Big D? I don't know.
Yeah.
Or not.
Can I say what I want to say? One thing.
Yeah.
Do you guys notice they only tried this bullshit with black players, and they don't play that with the white players though?
They did.
I'm just saying, Dallas came out and said that it was 2 years ago when they were like, we can't afford to pay full price for all 3 of these players, and they ended up paying full price for all these players. But you never see any of this crap done to white players. Like, white players get their money and move on, and they're able to play. Like, I want to say a few years ago, who is it? Randall, it's not Randall. The player for the Rams, the slot receiver for the Rams.
Ricky Prohl?
No, slot.
Joe Jarvis, white guy? Who you talking about?
You talking about Cooper Kupp?
Cup, yeah.
Oh, Cup. Oh, recently.
Cup. And they paid Cup before even his contract was up. His rookie contract was up. And they paid him well. Like, it wasn't like, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't like, like he got paid really well. And he was a 6th-round pick, maybe 7th-round pick. And I'm not saying he didn't deserve it. He's a good player. He deserved that money, and he deserved the market price for what that slot receiver does. But you didn't see them fighting for it. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to paying a black player, they don't ever want to pay what the market price is for them. They always want the black pay. Oh, if they cared about the team, then they'll take a price cut. And they won't pay, and this and that. Nah, don't stop it. Let's just call it what it is. It's different between each player.
Which is why I want y'all to stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen, because what bubbles my guts is coming on at the end of the show. We asked a question at the end of the last show where my man Ab said that he bets everything he's got that Alex Smith will get picked up before Colin Kaepernick, and how effed up that is in this league. That's something we got to talk about. And Ab, my man, you might need to do a biopic on that, because it's an issue from past till present. But let's move on.
I might need the next show, Sean. Real talk. Like, you got to put me on top of the show.
It's that long?
You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't just put me at the end for filler time. You got to put me at the beginning of the show.
He said, "Put me at the tail end of the
He's a backup singer.
Okay.
Oh, dang. Oh, my bad.
I deserve this spot.
Okay. All right. I give you the show. What you need? Hey, what you need? I give you the show. Look, let's go ahead. Let's move on. Honestly, with free agency approaching, there's a lot of players that did not get tagged. But even before that, there's a lot of guys, even on our team, that were kind of questioning, do they need to stay? Do they make the team better? We've already talked about Brandon Sheriff. But there's a lot of other guys. Like we just saw, if you haven't noticed, if you didn't hear today, Washington decided to tender Kyle Allen. So, how are we feeling about this? Like, who is on the bubble? Who does not need to be here? Ab, I'm gonna come to you first because you seem like you're ready to go. So, who do you think? Who's some people that you're like, man, go? You just get them out.
All right, my list is second. I got Anton cable plan. So give me a second, okay?
Yeah.
This man. I hate you.
Okay, let me just say this. From the list that I'm looking at, who doesn't need to be here? I'm gonna say Brandon Sheriff first. I think we should trade him. I will say that. I will say that we need to trade that man, and that's the route which we go. This is another one that you guys are going to be mad at me about. Daron Payne or Jonathan Allen. One of them got to go.
What?
One of them got to go. We got to trade them. And we got to trade them. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Explain.
So you were just explaining how Dallas will be jacked up in a few years because of the contracts that they signed in the last 2 years, right?
Yeah.
Imagine us with our defensive line doing that. Like, literally, I think we're going to have to let one of them go in order to be okay to stay competitive. You know what I'm saying? And think about it. We need to hype one of them up. Jonathan Allen is on his last year. I say maybe we sign him, and then if Daron Payne starts to look good before his 5th-year option, we trade him.
Let me ask you this. What do you think you could get this year right now, looking at Payne's stats? What type of compensation do you think they could get in return?
I don't think, to me, you have to at least gun for at least a second. At least a second. Maybe multiple picks, second and a fifth. You know what I'm saying? But stat wise, he doesn't look good. Like, we'll just say that. Stat wise, you can but to all the football players, we know it's more than stats. We all know it's more than stats. It's about how long he stays in that area, and how far he can push back another guard, a center, a tackle. So it's just one of those things that we got to look at, because that's what I guarantee you that's what the Giants are looking at with Leonard Williams. You know what I'm saying? So I just think that we can't wait to lose them for free agency, because we're not going to franchise tag them. I really don't see that happening. So I think, and honestly, can't wait for a compensation pick and see what we get.
Yeah. It would probably be like
What's up?
It would probably be about a 3rd-round pick. I just don't know. I'm with you, because his value is more than what his stats show. I'm with you. I just don't know if another team's going to give you anything better than a 4th or a 5th for him. And it stinks because he's on a cheap contract. I'm with you. It makes sense to what you're saying is, let's get something for him before we lose him for nothing. But I just don't know if you get the value.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying is, it's hard. Like, to me, unless he puts up numbers like Aaron Donald, that's the only way you're going to trade him. But I think it's something that you need to shop. It's something that you need to try and do. You know what I'm saying? Because the best that we can get is a third round compensation pick. And it's not towards the front of the 3rd round. It's at the end. You know what I'm saying? So it's more like a 4th round pick, if we're being honest about it.
Yeah.
But it's just,
and I like that
to be thinking about.
Right. And I like that now, because we have Tim Settle, we have Matt Ioannidis that could come in and fill. So it's not like if we were to take him out, there would be a huge hole. We have people that can fill in. So
exactly.
I mean, it's definitely something to think about. I mean, Anton, what you think?
Honestly, I was just thinking the opposite, taking Ioannidis and giving him the trade option out, just because, he's a good filler, but I think this is me again with the consistency on the field, is like Payne has definitely been the bigger body in the inside, and Ioannidis, I mean, he had a good year, but I don't think it was good enough for my expectations of him. The other one was Jim. Was it Moreland? The other one, I think, was
Jimmy Moreland.
I think we need to let those two go, because we could probably find a good draft on those 2 spots as fillings. I understand.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
No, I understand giving letting Jimmy Moreland go, but not until someone pushes him out. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I think. If we go in a draft and we have that, have more, I guess, more for the spot, I think it'll either prove him to be a better player or he gets gone.
So you got to look at it like this: we're already down 2 cornerbacks.
Yeah.
Monroe and Darby. So just off the bat, give up Jimmy Moreland, and he hasn't really even done nothing. It doesn't make sense. Now, if we pick up cornerbacks in free agency and in the draft, and they're okay, well, Jimmy Moreland is on the bubble, on the cusp of making it. That boy Johnson was constantly the year before, and the 2 years before, made, but Not right now.
Yeah, I got you. And there's a lot of interesting stuff to look at. And guys, like we said, this is all very important right now because honestly, free agency is approaching. Excuse me, sorry about that. We just got past the franchise tag deadline. We now know what the NFL salary cap will be. And there was a number of people that did not get tagged. And this is actually surprising. First person I'm going to start with, Adam Jones. Adam Jones didn't get tagged by the Packers. You had Bud Dupree, even though he had that injury for Pittsburgh, he didn't get tagged. Carl Lawson, edge rusher out of Cincinnati. You had a couple linemen, Juju. I know we talked about that. Corey Davis and Ty Hilton. A couple big name receivers that didn't get tagged. Mike Hilton, John Johnson. There's a lot of guys that did not get tagged. And Will, I'm coming to you first. Is there anybody on this list that you're thinking we should target? I know you had talked to Juju if we had all of our money.
Yeah.
If we had all of our money, Anton, he said Juju.
He's expensive.
Didn't say Danny Amendola. He said Juju.
Wow.
So Will, so anybody on this list or who you thinking for free agency? Because it's on our way. It's on the way.
Yeah. So talking about the guy you just mentioned, Juju obviously is a possibility. Getting a chance to research a little bit more where he thrives when he's the number 2, and then when AB left, his numbers have plummeted. The other thing is he's also more of a slot, but he's incredible around the end zone. But I don't think that's what they need at receiver. They could definitely use an improvement. He would help without doubt. I think they need speed. I think they need someone outside. I think they need someone who can stretch the field even more so than what Terry McLaurin does, or just make another weapon. And so I think, you're looking at, if you're going to shoot for the moon, you're looking at a Kenny Golladay, who could produce big in Detroit, but he's probably going to cost one of the higher ones. You could be looking at a Nelson Aguilar, who had a revitalized year in Oakland. And what folks are saying is he finally was put in a position to succeed, whereas in Philadelphia he was misused. I think it's going to be interesting because Ab, you had a great point about, let's think about what these players are going to get. So many teams are going to have to cut players to get under the salary cap. Right now, Philadelphia is like $25 million over the cap. Mm-hmm. They can't even sign their draft picks right now. So who are they going to cut? So right now, there are some players out there, but I think there's going to be more. But more importantly, these contracts may not be the crazy stuff that we've seen before. And you may see a lot of one-year deals out there. I was looking at someone I hadn't even talked about, was a free safety out of Minnesota, Anthony Harris. He's making $11 million this year. Ain't no way do I want to pay that. But if he just needs to do a one-year deal because no one's going to give him that $11 million, that could be an improvement. I'm curious to see. I want them to make a big splash at linebacker. I'm hearing a lot of buzz about Matt Milano out of Buffalo. He's an outside linebacker who can cover. How many times did we see John Bostic getting beat by running backs on swing passes in the end zone or tight ends? So I'm interested in seeing them get, I'm a linebacker I think you need to go big for. Let's get ourselves an improvement at wide receiver. We need a corner, like you guys mentioned. Ronald Darby, I'd love for him to get re-signed. He seemed to play pretty well with us. But there's some teams out there that notice he played pretty well. But we need some, we need one or two corners. And I'll tell you what, here's my guy. This is who I'd love to see them sign. Bring a little bit of swag to DC. Not as your number 2 necessarily, maybe a little bit. Go get yourself Richard Sherman and let's him lead it.
Ooh, that's for shock value, man. He's trying to hit you with that shock value. Look, I gotta come to you, Ab, because in the last couple weeks, you've been outspoken about all this money that we're giving Sher. It was potentially giving him. Now we are actually giving him. But there are so many. We have a number of free agent O-linemen that we could potentially get for cheaper. You got a Trent Williams, who we all know and love. You had the Packers center, Corey Lindsey, is a free agent. I know the Patriots, their center, he just came up as a free agent. You have, and we were talking about cornerbacks. You got Mike Hilton, who you guys have been talking about. So, Av, there's so many other options, man. What are you thinking, man?
So I'm thinking. Ron Rivera's plan. I'm gonna tell you. We're gonna call it RRP. You know what I'm saying? The RRP of this offseason is to wait. We're not going to make a splash. Like, honestly, I think the wide receiver that we wanted, like you said, we needed speed, right, Will? I think we need speed and length, like tall. You know what I'm saying? And to me, that's a Corey Davis right there. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what we need opposite of Terry. You said speed. I'm not like so. You said a lot of people are going to go after. So a lot like this person that I'm thinking of is someone that needs a prove-it deal, a 1-year deal. And I'm saying let's bring him back to DC, baby. He was a Philadelphia Eagle before too. You know what I'm saying? Bring back DX, baby. Let's go.
Oh my goodness.
Bring him back to the speed, baby. And
Are you talking about the one-trick pony?
Yeah, he did the one trick of the game that he would actually be there.
All he does.
Let me say this. When you threw it deep, he was there, right? He was there.
What year was that? What year was that?
How many games did he play in last year? You getting mad about Brandon Sheriff?
Wait. How many games did he play when he played for us the last time?
That's what I'm saying.
Like 4.
Yeah,
Wait. I want to say he had a 1,000-yard season with us too.
He did.
He did.
Shut up.
Healthy.
Shut up. Shut up.
If he's healthy.
Hold on now.
Let's
Let's think about this. Let's think about what you're saying. I talked a couple weeks ago how about we need to not be so predictable, and you said you put D-Jax on the field, and guess what he's doing? Going deep.
I'm saying, Can I say this? If you put D-Jax on the field and he's going deep, that's 2 players covering him. 2 players covering him.
2011, 2000, maybe 12 D-Jax, 2 players are covering him. One guy's covering him now. He don't got that lightning speed like he used to.
And if he doesn't, and I said a 1-year deal, didn't I?
Yeah.
I said a 1-year deal. Okay, it's not like we're making big commitments to the man. And look at you guys spent 3 minutes just disagreeing with me. So like you guys wasted my time. So yeah, so I said speed for D-Jax. We need a tall receiver, Corey Davis. You talked about cornerback. I honestly, Richard Sherman, he has that attitude that I like. But at the same time, y'all talk about D-Jax being old. Richard Sherman's old as shit too.
He is.
Let's be real. Like
right.
You know what I'm saying? Like he's gonna look like Josh Norman on the field.
He's also a free agent.
He's gonna look like him on the field. Just doesn't belong on the field. So, like, let's be honest about that. Let's talk about linebackers. Honestly, I think we need 2. Just like you said, Will. Milano, I like him. But John, I was reading up on a draft pick that you said. I know this is off topic. This is not free agency, but draft pick that you said, Xavier. What's his last name?
Oh, Collins. Yeah, Xavier Collins.
I would not mind that draft pick at number 1.
We told you that.
That guy's a good dude.
But I'm just saying, I like my boy Jeremiah. But I'm just saying that Xavier is all right, and he's huge, bro. I like that. Yes. I like how big he is, and he runs like the wind.
Yeah,
I like that.
I think we will have the choice to potentially get either or. I don't know Jeremiah is going to get picked. Well, he might get picked up like right before us, but I think we might have the chance to pick up one of those two guys. So I'm very excited. And ladies and gentlemen, look forward to that because that's coming. That's coming. But, hey, Anton, I got to give you a little bit of time. So I ain't going to let Ab just sit here and say all what he's going to say. Go ahead, Ant.
He just wants to take on my time. He just wants to take on my time. Just, let me get my moral support corner over here. And
corner.
Anton, sit
I don't come with no facts. I just come with my emotions to this conversation. So, no, but honestly, I think like free agency, there's a lot of good people. And I say this as this year for our team, I really look for Washington to have a wide receiver help. And there's a lot of good receivers that have opened up, be it T.Y. Hilton, who's it? Amendola, Aguilar, but honestly, if I could say what's his name, Golden Tate, throw those big names out there as options. But if I could say if anybody to be like a free agent trade, it would be Willie Snead. Like I'm still pressed on him from Baltimore just because of how much he would be in our lineup, not just what he did to Baltimore. It's what he can do on our part of the offense. And I think he could split up a little bit of that help with McLaurin by getting that double team off of him because he does have that speed where he can either go upfield or do a 5-yard slant and get those extra yards. And like I said, a lot of our plays are for our receivers to get the extra yards. So I think McLaurin, being that he averages over 8 yards after carry, Willie is almost the same boat with 7. So on an average, I think that they could both be a detriment on the offensive side of our field. I'm still mixed on our draft for our defense just because, we have a lot of play for our salary cap. Like I said, if we drop Ioannidis, that frees up a lot of space. And we could probably get somebody on a free agency list for a safety or CB. But I'd have to really be thinking about that a little bit further to see who I would want on my defense. I couldn't give a lot of input on that one.
Well, see that, and there's a number of names out there. I gotta agree with you guys because we all have mentioned that one of our main focuses is that wideout position. And like I said, you got T.Y. Hilton, you got the Jujus and the Corey Davis, who we've all said yes, we would look at them. But then you also have a Will Fuller. Somebody or who I personally like, a Curtis Samuel, somebody that I think you can get them at a reasonable cost, and they can actually be very good in our system. That's the other part of it. You can get a big name guy, but it has to fit in our system. So I do understand getting Djax for a year because Djax is familiar with Washington. He's familiar with this. But then at the same time, it's different coaching staff. And Rivera is really molding things.
He ain't gonna let that happen.
That's another. But so honestly, I think with wide receiver we need to go. I think I would have said prior to us franchise tagging Sheriff, we need to go O-line. But now, and maybe you still need to look at depth, but we can do that in the draft. Right. But that linebacker position, Milano being available, having people like that, I feel like in really looking to the draft for that linebacker position, I think that can really be one of those positions that makes us that changes us from being maybe a wild card team to a considerable divisional, maybe challenging with our defense to go to the championship game. You know what I mean? We still need a quarterback and a solid offense receivers to get us over the hump. But I think these are pieces that can move us into those positions. And like we've said the last couple of weeks, with that defensive line, all those guys on rookie contracts and on team-friendly contracts, we need to take advantage of, spending a little bit more money now on maybe somebody that could, even if we don't win now, that brings in helps bring in a culture and coach up these youngsters on the business, on the NFL, and on how things play out.
Intro.
You know,
That intro into the NFL is tough.
Right. Because a lot of it we know is you can be as good as you want to be, but a lot of it's a system and the culture that if you're one of these guys that's loose and wild and you come into a culture that lets you do whatever, well, that's not going to change. But you ain't going to pull that mess with Bill Belichick, you know what I mean, up in New England. He ain't going to have that.
Well, you ain't going to pull it with Ron trying to go up into a club and get caught.
Well, right. And that's what I was about to say, as I think that Ron is creating that culture here where it's like, nah, man, I'm not with that. I'm not doing that. And if you got a problem with that, sorry. Deuces. I'm sorry. It's a business. And I like that. I really like that.
He set that tone with Juice from the get-go. Once Juice got caught with marijuana charge, he was like, oh, you like that? Oh.
Deuces. He said deuces. Yo, so, hey, stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen, because honestly, for guys like us, this is that happy time. This is when players move from place to place. This is when we can sit there and just speculate and think, oh, this guy, if he comes to this position, oh, man, we'd be so good in that. But it's a lot of it is speculation. A lot of it is us just playing with depth charts, playing with free agents. Let's move this guy here. Let's do this. Let's do that. But, guys, there's going to be so much stuff that's coming up in the next coming weeks, especially in this next episode, because free agents are dropping like flies. I know the Bills, before we came on here, they released Jefferson and they released Jones. Brown, that's who it was. Right. Thank you, Will. Yeah. So I mean, those are huge. I mean, we had talked about John Brown. So those are very interesting moves, and it's just going to continue to happen. Another name I wanted to bring up, Kyle Long, the old Chicago Bears lineman who had retired about a year ago, decided that he's coming back. He's coming, and he's not, and he's actually a free agent. So
stay your ass on the couch. Nope. Nah, bro. No.
We'll take this that he thought he could come back off the couch and play.
He said it ain't happening. It ain't happening.
Not here.
All right.
Not here.
No,
not here.
Homie, don't play that.
All right, we got to go. Check us out. Free agency is coming. We will be spotlighting that. The draft is coming. We will be giving our opinions on that. Definitely spotlighting positions like we've been doing, positions that we need to focus on, maybe put more attention in, things of that nature. And maybe one of these weeks, there'll be good news about Dan Snyder maybe getting removed. I don't know. There have been some talks. About, somebody maybe forcing him out. Hey, that's just wishes. I'd actually believe more rumors of us getting a Deshaun Watson or Russell Wilson than I would that him getting kicked out of Washington. I'm going to be honest with you on that because I don't think he's going anywhere unless he pulled.
He got more fight than Donald Trump trying to leave office. Like he's
gonna
got a lot of fight in that one, bro.
Hey,
no vote.
We count that vote against me. We count that vote.
You can't do that.
It ain't happening. He said, "Stand back and stand by." Yeah, he was telling his people what was up. Hey, it is what it is. We got to get out of here. Go on ahead. Hey, this is Wednesday. This is Washington Football Weekly. You know the name. It's Sean Spencer. I got my man Dub K. I got the shirtless wonder Ab. I got my man Anton Benton. Hey, we appreciate y'all watching. We were glad to bring this to you. We will be back next week. Ladies and gentlemen, there is so much more to talk about. So we will see you soon. Peace, ladies and gentlemen.
Have a blessed